Hey, what's up? I'm Joel Madden, and this is Artist Friendly. On this episode, I'm talking with Grammy Award-winning producer and electronic dance music icon, Afrojack. Let's go.
That's my kind. I don't want no bad times. I don't want to have bad.
Like when I was a kid, up until I was 15, I didn't understand it. I didn't get life. Like I was always unpopular. I was always like the bullied kid, and like nothing ever went my way. I felt like that was my experience. And then when I started learning, like 15, I accidentally stumbled across subconscious psychology. Like some guys, they were giving a lecture on how to pick up girls. And like, it was like, whatever. But they said some things that just completely were opposite of what I was learned from my family. So I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense. So I went to dive into it deeper. I learned about body language, about tone of voice, pitch, like even like moving your hands while talking. And then I learned like some things that actually made sense of why life wasn't going my way. And I figured out life wasn't going life was going everyone's way, but because I lacked certain social skills, I wasn't able to, build a life. I sucked at communication. And I don't know why. I think some people just have it naturally and some people don't. There's a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers, which kind of touches upon subconscious growth.
Yeah.
But for some reason, that didn't work for me. And then when I was 15, I learned about psychology. I went out there. I experimented socially, which was scary and awkward as hell. But I learned so much about how people work and how their subconscious work that I was able to go from being completely introverted to being super comfortable talking to one person I just met, or like we literally just met. Like
we did. We've never met before.
We didn't even meet properly.
We didn't even meet. Yeah, and we've never met before. I obviously know who you are, but we've never. And I was excited that you're coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
But we've never met before. I really believe that we are like this species of animal that have the capacity and the potential to do what anyone else has done, right? So in the sense of what our own capacity is, we can take it to the maximum.
Exactly that. It's not like limited per person. It's like limited by, again, it goes back to the Outliers book. It's like a lot has to do with what happens around you and how you spend your time. And that's the reason I also like became a music producer and a DJ, is because when I learned about the basic psychology of humans, how our brain works, like, oh, this means anyone could potentially do anything. It just matters, how do you develop your time? Of course, if you're talking about physical capability in sports, it's very different. Like, so I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about creative capacity. Like anyone can do anything. And that's why I said, well, if anyone can do anything, this is what I want to do. And I just went for it fully. Got very lucky that my family supported me in that. And then like I just kept going for it, and it just grew and grew and grew, and step by step. Never happens overnight, of course, as you know. It's like you start very small and then it just grows and grows and grows. And now I'm here.
And here you are.
Yeah.
And you're young as shit.
37.
That's young as shit. That's the crazy part for me, is when I saw how old you were, I was like, what?
How old are you?
I'm 46. So I'm just saying, I have almost a decade.
You're also young, though.
I'm young, but I don't feel old. But when I look at your age for what you've accomplished, so what it was a like pleasant surprise. It gives me a lot of like, it makes me really happy when I see someone who you would almost imagine is older because of their experience and their accomplishment. You're very accomplished. You've got 2 decades now of fucking accomplishing shit and doing really well and making what you could say is a legacy in music. Maybe 15 years ago, you wouldn't say, I have a legacy. But you knew something in you knew that you were building a legacy, whether you do it naturally or whether you have a vision for it. But now here you are at 37, which is young as shit, and you have what other people dream about, which is like a legacy. You have a time spent in a space accomplishing things, and all of that stacked together is like this rich legacy.
It's pretty cool, yeah, when you look at it that way.
Yeah.
But I think, and I think you probably feel the same. It's like you're not actively focused on building a legacy. You're just actively focused on doing the best you can do. It's like right now on my way here, I was talking to my manager, like, yo, I need a MIDI keyboard. Like, I don't know why, but I need to like maximize I'm sitting in the car for hours. Like I need to make music even when I'm in the car now. So I need a MIDI keyboard so I can make music in the car. And I think having that mindset of just constantly trying to do the best you can with your time is something that apparently then later on you can look back at it like, oh, wow, actually build a legacy. But like while you're doing it, it's not like, oh yeah, this is really good for my future legacy. Like, I'm going to do this and this. So in 10 years, when I look back at it, it looks nice.
Yeah, it's getting the very most out of every hour you have when you're excited about things. That's how you think when you're inspired.
When you're on stage, like when you're talking to the people in front of you, you like make some noise, and they make some noise, and like really make some noise. Like just to go on top of that, even though you don't have to, just to give it a little bit more, the maximum impact you can reach. And I think that's like I have a Wall Pro Academy, which is like I'm teaching young kids. I always signed young artists, sign them, teach them, help them with music production, but also like getting the most out of life and then growing them. And now we put that into kind of a lesson program. And there it's kind of the same thing. Like the main thing you're trying to teach people, first of all, anyone can do anything. And now once you know this, how do you start doing it? By doing the maximum you can always. It starts with like stupid things. Like I work a lot with David Guetta, for example, who's like, he's 10 years older than you. So we're like all different generations.
OG,
and he used
OG.
to sign me. He's the OG and he's still making the hits.
Yeah.
And even with him, even though he's one of my best friends, I call him, like I text him, and if he doesn't reply me within the hour, I text him again. And if he doesn't reply me 1 hour later, I call him. And then a few hours later, if he didn't pick up, I will call him again.
Right.
And a lot of people wouldn't do that. They're like, yeah, but that's like socially awkward. Like you just send him a text and maybe he'll get back to you. But like, I don't want to wait till like the thing is, I can have 12 hours extra to work on a project if I call him now and he picks up. So I want to be first always. And I don't want to be like the first winner. I just want to be the first in line. And if you're the first in line, the chances are that you will get the shoe that you like or whatever it is that you're aiming for.
Well, you're a gamer.
I'm a gamer too.
You want to win. That's a gamer. I think of myself as a gamer in the sense of the same. I want to get to the answer I want to get to. And especially if we're friends. Yeah. If we're friends and I'm going to be who I am, which is I might call you 5 times in a row. And, you know, it doesn't mean it like it's just in the headspace I'm in. I need to get to what I need to get to the answer I need to get to, whatever. And my friends understand that's how I operate. So it doesn't put them off, you know? But if you guys can't do that with each other, then
that's a problem.
Then you're just associates who working. I didn't realize you were so tall. I'm gonna push my chair back a little bit.
My legs are like,
which is a great thing, by the way. I wish I was I'd love to have about probably like 3 or 4 more inches.
Maybe we could trade.
Yeah,
like I bumped my head into everything.
Yeah, that's a good problem though.
It's like I have a lot of bumps on my head for hitting doorways and stuff.
Do you think that the shy kid, or maybe the introverted kid in Holland?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that what you would have perceived as your problem, right, that you were trying to solve, right? That's where I think all of our greatest attributes, inventions, discoveries come from, is solving real problems. Like where we feel like I have a problem. I got bullied. I don't have any friends. Maybe I don't know how to maybe talk to girls, or I don't know how. I was in a similar situation. But do you think that the journey it put you on to discover like how life works?
Yeah, I think I got lucky with that.
But then it gave you almost like a model for how life works.
Yeah, that's why I said I think I got lucky, because I know a lot of people and they're like adults, or like adults, and they have like full-on families, and they still never really figured out how their brain works or how the brain of people works. So they still have all these questions like, why is my job not working out for me? Or why is my social life not working the way I want it? Because they never got confronted, like maybe they were popular in school, so they never got confronted with the issue of how does society function?
Like it wasn't painful enough to force them. And that's the thing too, is not to say that everyone's teenage years aren't a little painful, but it seems almost like the ones of us who it was really painful for different reasons, went and solved these major conceptual problems that then gave us a model for the way to live the rest of our life.
Yeah, that's why I said, I think like if we had like a painful school experience, I think most people that I know that are very successful, they did not have a successful school experience. They had a painful school experience. And because of that, they were forced to figure out different solutions to deal with life that made them way more adaptive, way more creative on dealing with life, on getting out of life what you want to get out of it. And of course, it's going to be way easier for you if you're doing that when you're 15, like me. Like I was getting into psychology at 15, than when you're 35.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have a full-time job and kids and responsibilities. It's a very different situation. So I kind of think that like the education that I got by accident really helped me be able to really follow my passion and really build something out of it. Yeah. So I really feel like I was super lucky with that.
I think luck is a nice way to look at it. I think gratitude is probably one of the most important things we can have is like gratitude, right? And to feel lucky. But I also think that it's a real tell of like a winner and a successful person.
Yeah, I do want to point out, because you hear the word gratitude thrown around a lot lately. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm so grateful. Blessed.
Yeah.
I see so many people that are faking it. Yeah. And like, if your life is crap according to you, and you think I'm just going to pretend to be grateful, it will work. It doesn't work like that. Like it really is like whatever shit you have that you're not happy with, and you start figuring it out. Once it's figured out, you'll be so grateful that you had the shit to figure out in the first place, because it avoids you from ever getting in that shit again. So like I see so many people, oh yeah, it's not where I want it to be, but I'm grateful. It's like, no, don't be grateful yet. Like work on it, fix it. And when it's fixed, be grateful that you never have to go through that shit again.
Yeah.
But like, don't just like think like, if I'm going to be grateful, the problem will solve itself. Like that doesn't really work. So
yeah, it's cool we're having this conversation. This week, every once in a while, I will spend a week kind of meditating on like making sure that my inner thought process is tuned up so that I can keep. What I struggled with when I was a kid was low self-esteem and like hopelessness. I grew up with poor, not great relationship with my parents, because they were just busy trying to make life work and they were falling apart. And then I didn't do well in school, and it didn't fit in. So it was all that stuff. So I have to really make sure that I'm keeping an eye on my thought process and my thoughts, so that I'm always acclimating my thoughts towards possibility, positive outcomes. So every once in a while I will I'll rededicate my mind to a week of kind of like keeping an eye on it to make sure that all the dials are just...
Yeah, so you set a benchmark, you like take a moment to set a benchmark, and then once every week you look, am I doing well?
Yeah,
is there a problem somewhere?
And do I wake up every day with...
I have to go to the toilet?
Do I wake up every day with the right attitude?
Yeah.
And then I find when I check in with myself every once in a while, and usually everything checks out. And I really do believe that like my own personal success in life, aside from career success, which I care about deeply, but I care deeply about my family, my wife, my own personal health and well-being, and my own feeling of like, am I having a good life?
Yeah.
If we think we're having a good life and we acclimate ourselves towards the idea that life is good and full of potential and possibility and good shit, we will find it in the world. And if we think, why is this life isn't good, everything's always happening to me and everything's bad happened to me, we'll find that too. And so I think like because of music, I got to understand very easily, very simply, imagining something and then doing it.
Yeah.
And then everything happening.
So the thing is, what I use to make sure that's good all the time. So instead of like doing the weekly benchmark check myself and then later turning it into a practice, I learned a very simple trick. It's very scary. It's a very scary trick. But basically what you do, that benchmark you set for yourself, when you're at a great place in your life, you tell your friends, your team, I'm in a great place in life because this, and this. If I'm ever not in a great place in my life, or you think I'm making decisions or I'm saying things that might not be in my own best interest, or like I'm just not at the right place, tell me. The thing that's scary about that is you're basically putting like the highest amount of pressure to be the best version of yourself out there. But because you put it out there, people will be able to be honest with you because like they know that you trust them. So then instead of having to wonder, am I being the best version of myself? The moment you're not being the best version of yourself, your friends will immediately look at you like,
what's going on?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you good? And then like you automatically know because you had the conversation, oh my God, I'm not being the best version of myself. So what I started when I started doing this, like 7 years ago, Fritz, you know, my camera guy, media director, has been with me all my life. And when I started doing that, like especially when I started, like I have managers and stuff, but I started like my own company about 10 years ago. When you have staff and people around you and you need to take care of them, it's not just anymore about being the artist to your fans. It's also about being a good employer,
A good leader.
because you're taking care of people and their families. So then like you have to kind of be a responsible person. So you can still go out and party, but like if someone does one thing wrong and you're annoyed and you say like, I'm gonna fire you now and you will never work in this industry again, like this type of feelings that you can get if someone makes a very bad mistake at a very big moment. Like you're playing the biggest show of your life and they didn't prepare properly and now you're pissed. If you ever feel like that, if you have people around you that tell you, yo, this might not be in their best interest or your own best interest to make a stupid decision like that, you don't even have to tell you. They'll give you a look and that look will make you think twice about what you're doing because you know they know.
Right.
But if you don't tell anyone, of course, it's like it makes your life a little bit easier because you don't have to constantly perform to your maximum of your ability. But at the same time, that means you will make mistakes because no one will hold you accountable for your mistakes. Because like in our case, like we're the boss, so no one dares to say us anything. So it's super important, at least that's my trick, to empower everyone around you, to explain to them, listen, I might be wearing like I might be the one on stage, but I'm on stage because all of us work together as a team.
That's right.
And because you keep me in check when I start acting like an idiot. And I remember when I came up, like back 2010 internationally, imagine this is 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I was 22.
Right.
And everyone said I was awesome. So I was just going around thinking,
Dude, this is amazing.
I'm awesome.
Yeah.
I'm awesome. Go to the hotel. Yeah, I'm sorry, this room's not ready. Yeah, but did you know I'm awesome? So you should have the room ready.
Yeah.
Stupid shit like that.
Right.
And no one checked me because and this is the thing in the music industry, but I think also in a lot of creative industries,
Yes.
the companies make money of you thinking you're awesome.
Yeah.
They don't make money if everyone around you is in power and you start making better decisions.
That's right.
I was flying around the world. I had an Afrojet, like private jets everywhere, drinking all the time. I didn't make any money.
Yeah.
They said in Forbes, Afrojack's doing 10 million a year. Gross. I
Right.
netted zero. My
Right.
management made 2 million a year.
Right.
The publishers made 10%. Like everyone made their
Right.
percentage.
Right.
And I was going around like a drunk idiot, just DJing, having fun, not understanding I was actually not building anything. And even worse, that I was probably destroying relationships because like I thought promoters are booking me to make money. They're not, like, promoters are in the music business because they love music. So they're like, no, you just book me because you just want to make money. So I need this and this and that. I was like the worst example of like diva music industry behavior.
We've all had those experiences.
Because no one tells us. So then when I split up with my management 2015 and I had to handle everything myself, like, oh my God.
Right.
How lucky I've been that I had all these promoters that wanted to support me.
Right.
That all these people that enjoyed my music, all these labels that loved working on my music, all the people that worked at the label that loved working on my music, not because it makes them a lot of money, but because they actually like the music and they like the message behind the music. They like what it did for people. I was like, oh my God, like I've been kind of an asshole to all of these people. And that's when I realized, like, if I don't empower people around me to be honest with me and to tell me the truth and to feel valued at the same level as the person that is on stage, this can happen again and again and again and again and again and again.
I mean,
and again.
Dude, the thing that strikes me about you, though, to sit here and listen to you, is how profound it is for someone to admit that. I'm just saying, listen, I've admitted it, and even not such. You summed up, I think, what it means, the pop success, the fame, the things we can get when we have big songs, hit songs, this and that. We could become completely infantilized.
Because we don't know better.
But we almost, and I'll take it further, we think it's actually what we're supposed to do. We have been kind of told.
If you get success and people treat you in a certain way that everyone says you are awesome and you act like you're awesome and you get more success, you think that it's part of the job to act like you're awesome. Yeah. It's like people want to see me act like a diva.
Especially
I need this.
If you're like an introverted kid who couldn't talk to girls when you're 15. I have to recognize, though, that we can say that and then go, I could still say that and blame everyone else and go, yeah, but I didn't know I wasn't supposed to, like, but to hear someone go, no, I thought that's how it worked. I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. And yes, people were enabling me in some ways, but the buck stops with me. I had to, you said it, you fired your managers and you got into the driver's seat and you were like, holy shit. And then you start to realize, okay, some of the mistakes were youthful, right? But what you realize actually was the power of what you were doing, building your business. And yes, maybe, by the way, we all blew money when we didn't understand money and the business and the value of it and all the things. If we were running a startup, we would look at our revenue and we would look at our net and we would start to do the multiples off of it. And we'd want our net revenue to go up every year. Yeah. And we'd start going, and it's a game that we would play very well because we're gamers. But when it's a magic thing that we don't know, like we feel lucky and we feel like someone waved the magic wand and we became famous and it might go away tomorrow. So like, let's just live it up and try to get the most out of it right now. Nothing is actually true in the functionality of the business. But on the other side of that, not only do you realize like, okay, I might have wasted some money, but I learned a lot. I know how to run a business. I know how to build an artist brand. And the more and more you get your hands on the wheel and you get your hands into it, you become even better at it. But flash forward to now with Wall, right? You're teaching people. Had you not gone through that whole experience and understood.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then you become immune. Think about this. I feel this way about myself. I'm immune to fame. You can't buy me with it. I don't care about it. I already had that experience. It's not that it's not valuable in some ways.
It's still nice. It's still nice sometimes.
There's aspects of it that are very valuable. There's aspects of it that are nice, but it's not the thing that drives me. I don't care about it. So I'm immune to things that would 20 years ago would have made me go, oh my God, wow. You're going to fly me on your private jet and you're going to make me famous. I don't care now. Now I had to go through all the experiences to get back to the core idea of what's truly valuable, an artist who actually creates original and cool ideas.
I wanted to say the same thing. Like every artist that is in the come up, like I was just at Coachella and I love seeing those young artists that are just popping.
Just hitting their first big hit.
They're riding the wave of fame. Yeah. They think they're awesome. I'm super happy for them. I just like wish for their future that someone at least drops them a drip of truthfulness that they understand there's more to it than this.
Yes.
Because like, I think we had no idea and no one was really working on the education. Now, of course, information is a lot more available with podcasts and stuff, but I just love seeing them ride the wave. But at the same time, I'm like, I hope someone will tell you one day, like, there's more, you know?
There's more to it. And you gotta celebrate the hits, celebrate the moments, and in between those moments, build businesses that are sustainable and that you actually like, and a life that you like living in, and a thing you like. You go to work every day.
So easy to forget.
You forget, like, I'm actually living in a real life as well. So if all my chips go into being famous, and I don't build any other rooms in the house where that I like, then I'll only be in the famous room, and then I won't go. So I think of it as my real life.
I was so like busy riding the wave of fame, that I forgot I was a musician. I was a DJ. So I was so busy doing interviews and being at cool places and partying with famous people that I put music like on a 3rd or 4th place as a priority. And then by the time after a year of touring and being famous and having to get back in the studio to actually have to make music, I'm not as good at this as I used to because I've been focusing on other stuff for a year.
Right.
So now I'm kind of in a position where I'm like, okay, like I'll still do some interviews, but I really see it now as completely opposite. An interview is a side effect of making great music.
That's right.
Saying cool stuff or making funny jokes on social media is a side thing of making cool music. And it's funny that you mentioned legacy before, because I might have a legacy, but I am nothing more than whatever I'm doing at this moment. So it's nice I did some good shit 10 years ago. Do it again. Yeah. So I'm like, I do not allow myself to say because I did something great means I am great. I am not great. I might do something great again. But you look at sports people, that's probably the reason they're a little bit more humble. They have to go out and perform. Doesn't matter that you won last year, win again.
Then there's an expiration date on sports. You age out of it, and it's really hard.
And we don't have that excuse. So do it again. Go back to the studio. It's like, but rock is not as hot right now, or EDM is not as hot right now. It doesn't matter. Make a song that's so good that it makes rock hot again. Make a song that's so good that makes EDM good again. You have to be above. You have to be above society. You have to work so hard that whatever's going on in society, in politics, in the world, it doesn't matter. Your product that you make, the song that you make, is going to give people what they need to disassociate from everything else in the world. And the only way we can do that is if we remember that this is what we're supposed to do. Not going on social media and putting enough TikToks out there to hope one will go viral and then accidentally we get famous. I don't know. This is like the way I see the world is working right now. And I see so many kids that think, if I only get one video that goes viral, it will change my life. It will only change your life if you actually are that guy.
If you're authentic.
Exactly.
I think that anything as an artist, if you do it. So again, like I come back to Wall because I was really interested in the idea that you started this place for artists and young artists to learn. And essentially you're giving them your curriculum, which is what we're talking about. It's what I wish someone would have told me when I was 18, when I came into this. That's what, when we started our company, we have a music company. It's a management company. Yeah.
I saw some pictures.
I was just like, let's be the guys we wish we would have met. Let's just be honest with people.
Exactly.
Tell them how it works.
That's exactly the thing. So like if it took us like 10 years to get somewhere, then I think when I see a 20-year-old kid, like you already have this talent. If I give you the information, probably you get to where I am in like 5 years.
That's
and
right.
You get to live your dream life. It's good business for the company. And you can later teach other people.
And when they have success and you help nurture them through that success, so that when every career, no one has a hit every time. No one.
No.
And so on the other side of that hit is a valley. On the other side of that peak. Now, how deep that valley is, we don't know. Some people, it might be a little dip. Some people, it might be a complete fall off.
Yep.
And then they have to rebuild and rediscover what it means to be them, and then build their way back to hopefully another success. Most people quit.
Yeah, or they wait 15 years to be retro.
Right. So the idea that that a career is not linear, a career is this very dynamic and like very hard to predict, but you can predict if I go forward, I put forth effort and I do things I care about and I'm authentic to myself, that I will have some version of success.
Exactly that. And that's what I tell people. If you perform, like you do your absolute best all of the time and you give that honest benchmarks to the people around you, so they will always keep you focused, you will have a minimum level of success guaranteed. The only way you wouldn't reach that success if you're not truthful with yourself. You are not putting in the time or the effort that you should be putting in. You might be lying to yourself saying, I did my best, but did you really do your best? It's like one of the things I also dive into is, how you say, this is a very sensitive subject.
Okay, it's fine.
So many people, like I see interviews and the artist goes like, follow your heart. Bro, that's like the worst possible advice you can ever get if you don't know what it means.
Right.
Like they say, you want to be a best basketball player in the world. Okay, follow your heart. And you're going to start playing like NBA and the PlayStation every day, but you never go out and practice. You will fail miserably.
Or you're my height. It ain't happening. I gotta be realistic.
You know what I mean? I always wanted to be a breakdancer or a pro snowboarder. Bro, I'm too heavy. It's like, yeah, but if I train hard enough, my legs will be... It's not happening. That's not how gravity works. Like,
yeah. Someone once told me, an author, really good author, love the things that love you back.
Yeah. That's
and
a good
like,
point.
I could tell you, like, I want to be the biggest movie star in the world. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with something. Okay. There's a potential there if I put all my effort, all my time, shift my focus, give up everything that I've built, and just dedicate the next 20 years to movies. There's a potential I could find a role and like become a movie star. And I'm in entertainment, so the odds are like, for me, I'm not saying that people can't achieve their dreams, but in basketball, height's a thing.
Yes. There is physical limitation, but the thing is, when it comes to creative things like acting, writing, music,
truthfully, anyone could do it. Yeah,
so
like that's probably a bad example.
Well, the thing is, what there is, which is so amazing, is basically how your brain works.
Yeah,
is that also the way we perceive art,
right,
is limited to a certain amount of variables, and it sounds very technical. That's why I say this is a very sensitive subject. But making great music does not mean you have to be a great musician. Because if you understand how people perceive great music, the only thing you have to do is fake it till you make it. And it's very funny. There's one of the things I read also, again, going back to the book's Outliers, the Beatles, they were going out and playing, I think 200 nights a year in some club in London or Germany, and they were playing covers of the biggest hits. If you train your motoric system, your fingers, playing guitar, only playing covers of hits, when you write a song,
you'll write a hit.
You will play hit chord progressions.
That's right.
You will write a song to a hit chord progression. Now, how big is the chance you're going to write a hit if you use a hit chord progression versus using a randomly made up chord progression?
Right.
Probably way bigger. So that's why I'm saying, if you really want to act, a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to follow my heart. I'm going to try acting very hard. It doesn't work like that. You need to understand the theory of acting, the theory of brand management, like the reasons that actors don't have social media. Because they perceive people in a certain way when they see them as actors. And the only way the actor can get the part is if he does not have a public image.
Doesn't give up the real person.
Exactly. Because the moment you know the real person, you won't believe him when he's acting. But if you don't know this, you might think, I'm going to go out and be a person. I'm going to try then after, when I'm famous, I'm going to try to be an actor. It doesn't work because they won't book you because no one believes you. But if you don't know this, you might just try to act as hard as you can and it will never work out. Same thing with music. All these kids, they're saying like, in my basic rules, you can go in the studio. You can do two things. You can try to win or you can have fun. Having fun is super important to stimulate your creativity. Go behind the piano, do whatever you want. Make whatever genre you want. But if you want to win, look at Billboard, look at who's touring, look at who's doing great, look at who's not doing great. What sounds are they using? What chord progressions are they using? What are they talking about? How many syllables do the lyrics have per chorus? Stupid shit like that. It's absolutely not fun. That's why I said this is a very sensitive subject because people like to believe in the art of the creative, but end of the day, our mind is very limited into the perception of art, and we have things that we like. So I always say the same thing as like if you want to be a chef, are you going to make a salami sandwich with Nutella, or are you going to make pancakes with Nutella? People like pancakes with Nutella. Make some pancakes with Nutella. You want to start a restaurant? Do your version of that. Yeah. Don't try to invent the wheel. Use the wheel.
Yeah.
Like cars have 4 wheels.
Improve it.
Don't
Innovate.
build a car with 5 wheels or 1 wheel. It's like you're shrinking your own market. So it's like I'm trying to explain to kids at the same time, yes, follow your passion, but also instead of just following your passion blindly, look at what works. You want to be the greatest basketball player of all time? Look at what Kobe Bryant was doing to motivate himself, the amount of training he put in. Not just throwing balls, also running, because the faster you run, the more chance you're going to have to actually throw the ball. So it's like all these, there's so many extensions of it. And in sports, because it's managed by professionals, there's so much, there's so much protocol into becoming great at sports. So much
discipline.
When you go to music, everyone's just like, you do whatever the fuck you want. And when you make a hit, we'll make money off of it. And they don't care if you fail afterwards.
Right. So or if you're healthy.
They don't care about nothing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I try to explain to kids. It's like, if you build a protocol built on maximizing your chances of success by trying to build a training protocol comparable to the pro sports, you have a very big shot of not maybe becoming the most famous musician of all time, but having a professional career in music.
Yeah, career.
And I think that's what everyone that wants to be a musician wants. Like, we just want to make money from doing what we love. And then if we have that, then on top of that, you can be super creative and do whatever the hell you want. But if you want to have that guarantee of making it as a basic musician, you need to understand how YouTube works. You need to understand I don't like it, but you need to understand how social media works.
There's a discipline. And the disciplines are these things. It's understanding how all the verticals that we interact in, how they work.
Yeah.
And do you have a workout regimen and stuff like that?
I was doing lunges and squats outside because I was standing still. Right. So I was just doing some lunges and squats because why not? I didn't start doing that until a few weeks ago. But one thing I really noticed, I talked to some people that like a friend of mine was not feeling well, like not always happy and stuff. And I learned doing sports or doing like a quick, powerful activity, it releases like dopamine in your brain. So I told him, and then when I told him, I'm like, oh crap, I should do this myself. So now whenever I'm in the studio and I'm going to the toilet, I do some lunges, or I bought like one of those power bricks where you can change the dumbbell weight.
Yeah.
And I put it next to my computer. So every time I get up, I just, get a pump in. And you feel better.
Yeah.
Stupid stuff like that. And this is what I mean. Like, when you notice, your life will be so much more pleasant. But unfortunately, no one dares to attribute life to that. People always think like your life quality or your perception of your quality of life is dependent on very big moves and very big decisions. And it doesn't work like that. It's very tiny things.
It's all the little things that add up to the big things.
Yeah. Like you wake up, you're going to be on your phone for 30 minutes. You're not going to be happy when you get out of bed.
That's right.
If you wake up, you get out of bed, you take a shower, you do some squats, you do some push-ups, whatever, like anything active. Movement. And then you look on your phone, you feel way better about yourself before even opening your phone. And you look at Instagram and you're like, oh, that's not as interesting. But when you wake up and you didn't do anything yet, and you kill yourself with 30 minutes of nonstop social media things around the world about how important everything is, the moment you get out of bed, you're like, wow, I suck. So it's like all these tiny things that no one is telling us. Then like I got lucky that I got into books, that I learned it from reading all these books. And like, oh my God, life is actually pretty great.
Yeah.
If you know how to navigate.
It's funny how little decisions have such big effects, like what you're saying. If someone that struggles with their inner dialogue wants to change that, I would guarantee that putting your phone in another room when you go to bed and waking up without it, try that for a day or 2 or 3. Just give it a try and watch what you think about in the morning when you're not connected at the hip. And then the same thing, like I work out every morning. I don't miss it. Because my head, I need it. It gives me dopamine. It gives me like a perception of life that's exciting. I get excited. I feel great after I work out. And I could probably miss 1 day. That's it. That's my limit. If I go 2 days without working out, I start to get down. I start to feel bad.
I have it with sugar. So like
you love sugar?
No, processed sugar. If I eat Nutella, I need to have like a hit of processed sugar every 12 hours. Because if I don't, everything sucks. Everyone sucks. My life sucks. I'm not amounting to anything. Oh my God. I think maybe I should stop DJing and start doing something else just because I didn't have my hit of processed
sugar. Is that the coffee? Let's go.
Thank you so much.
I love sugar too. I've had to like wean myself down. Every 12 hours would actually be a miracle. I eat it more than that. But that's the one thing I got to continue to work on is my sugar.
Well, once you're out of it, it's super easy to stay out of it. But once you're in it, and usually you get even in it by accident. Like, oh, I'm going to have these French fries with tomato ketchup. Tomato ketchup is 30% processed sugar.
It's all sugar.
And
I love ketchup.
5 hours later, like, let's have some Nutella.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's difficult. But that's for me really a big thing. I try.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Caffeine.
Cheers. I try to stick with caffeine and I try to fill myself with as much protein as possible. So I'm not going to get hungry for sugar snacks.
Yeah.
But oh my God, do I love Kinder Buenos.
Yeah.
It's so bad. I would never recommend it.
What are they called?
Like Kinder Buenos.
Oh, Kinder.
Yeah.
Kinders.
Yeah.
I love Kinder stuff.
Like chocolate. And it says chocolate bar. And it's like, you look at the ingredients, 60% sugar.
The Kinder chocolate.
Yeah, you have Hershey's.
Yeah.
Mars. Yeah, I like
Do you still live in Europe?
Part-time. I live between Milan and Miami.
Okay. Miami's cool.
It's such a madhouse.
Yeah.
It's like, so I was here at Coachella this week.
How was it?
Amazing. And the show was amazing. And it was very fun. But living in Miami now for about a year and then going to California, you notice like how everything is so much more nuanced in California, which has positives and negatives.
Yeah.
It's like everyone is their vocabulary is super expanded. And Miami is like more a little bit like New York. Yes, no. And then in LA, it's absolutely, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
So it's like a little bit different lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in LA like really spent time here for like 5 years. And I like
back.
it. It's very, how you say? It's very special. And I also notice it's mostly a vocabulary thing, like between the East Coast and West Coast.
It is.
Like New Yorkers are way more direct.
Yes.
And Dutch people are like, New Yorkers think we are rude. So you can imagine. And what I love about Miami is just the mix of people. Like we live at Satay, which is like on Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Right in the middle. So we're like at 20th. And if you go down, you have all the craziness, the tourists, the party people, a year ago or something, I heard something about a guy running around with a machete.
Yeah.
And then you go north and it's all families and it's quiet, no tourists. So yeah, me and my wife love walking down and love walking up. It's a very worldly experience because you have all the happy people, you have all the sad people, you have all the angry people. Like every emotion is represented.
I love Miami and the Latin influence there is amazing.
That too.
And then also it's still East Coast. So like you're saying, like people are very direct.
Yeah.
So you don't have to guess.
Yeah.
LA is a thing you learn how to navigate because you got to read between the lines.
So in California, you have to be careful not to get canceled. In Miami, everyone's already canceled.
Yes.
It's kind of like
yes,
different lifestyle.
And you have to read between the lines. Like people will say one thing and they mean another. And if you've lived here long enough, you just know what is what.
But I like it.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like the thing. I listened to a guy called Alan Watts a lot.
Yeah.
Old theologist, like a lot of philosophy. And one thing he always says is like life is kind of a game and you kind of choose how much you want to participate in it, you know? And that's very clear with communication in California. It's like you have to read between the lines.
Yeah.
And people are still people, but their vocabulary is just different. But when you get emotional and something happens, they will still understand. Like they will never blame you for being rude because something awful happened to you.
Right.
But if you're too direct without a proper reason, you have to be careful.
It's true. It's really nice. How long have you been married?
5 years.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's really nice marriage. It does something. I find like there's something I like more about my career since I've been married. I don't know what it is. I feel like my marriage and I obviously have kids and everything. They give me this true sanctuary that like
something to work for, something to protect,
something to protect, and something to go home to where the success of the day doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And you know, they believe in me and I believe in them, and it isn't all about me. It's not my show.
No,
at home, like
absolutely.
we're all
I know.
together, you know?
I know.
And I think we get that with a family. It's not all about us, it's about all of us. And
exactly that. It's not all about us. It's about all of us.
yeah.
And I think that quote also, like,
Good quote.
it's an amazing quote,
Yeah.
but I think that quote works if you marry the right person.
Right.
And I heard so many people before I married my wife, who like, never get married. It's a trap. Like
Yeah.
you see all these things.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense for the people that got married because out of societal pressure.
Right.
I
Which
think
is real.
Like, I met a lot of
It's
married
real.
couples, and they didn't get married because they loved that person and they want to die with the person. They got married because it seemed the logical thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going to get this job and I'm going to get married. I'm going to do this and that. It's like, if you get married like that, I don't know what it's like. Like for me, when I met my wife, I was like, well, I've been around the world. I've seen a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the best thing I've ever met. Instant marriage.
Right.
Like instant. Like after 1 year, I said like, will you marry me? Second year, we got married. And
That's
then
great.
super fast. But I did it because, how you say? It's the best person I've ever met. And she inspires me and she motivates me. And that's why I wanted to marry her.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. So when you have that, absolutely get married. If you don't have, I would definitely not recommend getting married because I cannot imagine spending time every day with someone that is not that person to you. It must be, well, that's probably why a lot of people get divorced, because if you marry the wrong person, your life becomes a living hell.
Oh, yeah.
You're forced to spend time with someone
Life isn't
you
better.
don't enjoy.
It gets worse.
Probably.
When you marry the right person, life just keeps getting better. Even when you're working through what I would say, what's interesting, the first 5 years of marriage, I would say, are like, well, there's the honeymoon period, but like you're actually like figuring out how this company runs.
Yeah,
who
yeah,
does what? Who like what? When you get past 5, 6, 7, you hit these new heights of like closeness, of function, of like productivity together. And then you got kids coming in the picture, and then it's exciting. But like it just cycles up and gets better and better and progresses like that. When I think if you pick the other, which is like a degress, right? To degenerate and digress is like one avenue. So I'm a progressive person. I want to grow and get better and better and better and better. And I think my wife is of the same mind. Like we, and
well,
we,
I can give you an example. Like on the opposite side, a friend of mine is getting divorced right now, and when he told me, he's like, I'm like, how are you? And he's like, not so good, man. I'm getting divorced. And I told him like, I'm so happy for you.
yeah,
Because like I always saw them together, and there were always problems. There were always issues.
They were always fighting.
They were not fitting. Like
Ugh.
she had a very different vision of life than him.
it's painful to watch.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when he said it, I was like, oh wow, that's awesome.
You're gonna
And he's
try
like, he didn't
again.
get it, but then I called him and I explained him like, yo, I think you're gonna be way happier and yada yada yada.
And you
And I don't know if it's my position, but
and you both deserve to try to find the best version of life that
I'm
life
happy
has
for
offered.
both of them.
Yeah, I think that's
Honestly.
real.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like, am I saying something wrong now?
No,
but like,
no, I think no. I think you're honest and direct. It's refreshing. It's very Dutch, by the way. I have a few Dutch friends, and at first, when you get to talk to someone, like the Dutch have a way where it's like, at first, it's like, boom, this hits you over the head. You're like, whoa, that was very direct. But you start to actually appreciate not having to wait around for an answer
yeah,
to get to the bottom of how someone feels or what they think or if they're in or they're out or if they like it or they don't, which is very, it's very, I don't want to say un-American, because America, we're made up of so many different cultures and there's influences from everywhere. But like, I find the Dutch to be very direct and very, not to say you're absolute, like your mind couldn't be changed if someone presented like a good,
no, of course not.
you know, but you have a way of just saying it like it is. And I think that's like a refreshing,
It's interesting. Even in Holland, you have some people that are like still like beating around the bush, but there's a lot of clarity. It's a very like,
I love Holland.
I think in Holland, we call it a farmer mentality.
Right.
It's like we have a lot of farms in Holland. And I think one of like the big things that we have is just like, this is what it is. You wake up, Like chicken makes the egg, you sell the egg, you make the money, you put the food on the table.
Yeah.
What else is there to talk about?
The sun is shining or it's raining, whatever, like it's fact.
But that's the thing, like, it's raining. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's raining. Take an umbrella. It's like, it's that simple. Life.
Yeah.
This is what I love about Alan Watts also. It's like you can dive so deep into the reason of life. People wondering like, what's the meaning of everything? Bro, it's almost like a joke. It only matters dependent on how much energy you put into it.
Right.
There is no absolute answer to everything. It's very difficult for people to accept because everyone needs something to hold on to. And what I love about that is that, like, especially like Alan Watts per se is really saying like, there's nothing to hold on to. There is you. You wake up. The fact that you get to wake up and experience life, experience pleasure, experience food, experience love, even experience hardship. The fact that we get to wake up and experience
means we're alive.
Do something with that. Do something with that. And that's like the thing that I use to motivate myself and also the people that I sign, the people around me, is like, we just want to get the most out of it, you know? Like you get everyone gets 24 hours a day. Do something with it. Even if you want to play Fortnite for 12 hours, I play Call of Duty, I play Final Fantasy. It's okay. As long as you're not gonna lie to yourself about what you're doing with your time.
That's
just
right.
accept it.
Yeah.
You don't have
own
to
it.
You don't have to be on 24/7.
I feel that. And if you're going on vacation, go on vacation.
Go on vacation, enjoy it. But I still say it's so important to understand how your brain works because, for example, like what you said, go to sleep with your phone in the other room. You're gonna wake up so much more happier because even the 30 seconds it takes you to walk to the other room to turn your phone on and then look at it, you will have a more, how you say, real experience of life than instantly being zoned in into social media because your complete conception of life changes. Like instead of looking like this, you will actually see the wood on the wall and the lamp and the mic. Like there's so much stuff that we see with peripheral vision. We are not looking at it. And because we're not looking at it, we cannot appreciate it. And this is not our fault. This is capitalism. Yeah. Because they make money off of us not looking at the things. They make money off of us like disregarding and just getting zoned in. That's what they want.
It's their job to figure out how to keep us locked into those platforms. It's very compelling to think about that. Like it is literally billions and billions of dollars are spent developing more efficient ways to get people to stay locked into, tranced into the thing that we all kind of also depend on to promote things, to sell things, to run our businesses. So it's fine. It's up to you to figure out how you navigate the matrix.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. The only thing that I always want to keep telling people though is this is like, I don't necessarily agree with capitalism, but I don't know how you say who started it, but this is definitely the world we live in. So instead of trying to fight the entire world the way it functions, just understand how it works and navigate it.
That's right.
But like understanding makes it so much easier. It makes it so much easier to know that like when I'm on Instagram for 30 minutes nonstop scrolling, the fact that now I know that this is what it's made for makes it easier for me to put it away and saying like, oh, I've been doing this too much.
Oh shit! Like
I start forgetting about you got me.
I'll put it down.
I'll see you in a few hours.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And like when life is like that, it's so much more comfortable instead of just getting lost and don't know what's happening.
One of the things I love about this show personally is like every time I sit down to have a conversation, I'm locked into it for an hour and a half. There's no phone, there's nothing. And you're actually experiencing another person that you've never met. Yep. And you're getting a sense of like a real person. And that to me is like it's the thing I think I get the most joy out of is getting a sense of someone that I know your work. Like for a long time now, I know your work, and I've had a perception of you in the sense, you know, like just an outwardly perception, and then to sit with the person and I can almost formulate. I don't know everything about your life, but I can get a sense of you, and I walk away with a different. I don't know. I listen to the music again, and it gives it more texture. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's really cool. But it's like unplugging from the world and having a conversation with another human for more than an hour is something. It's something that feels like different. It's like a different experience that I feel like that I get to do on this show that I really enjoy. It's cool.
I think that might also be why people enjoy listening to podcasts, because they actually are experiencing an actual conversation that's lasting more. When you go out on the street or you live your life, like how many conversations actually last more than 5 minutes?
Right.
Even when you're like with your friends or when you're online playing a video game, even then it's always a conversation with activity. It's rarely just conversation.
And the more digital we become as we have these past decade, the less long conversations are a thing like in real life.
Yeah. And the more valuable this becomes. I think this is also like probably the future of social media will be, well, actually it kind of is already. Most of viral social media is outtakes from long things.
That's right.
Most of the things that you see are viral aren't like something that's made for a moment. It's a moment cut out of a very long thing.
It's the best moments taken. Like what most people that come on this show want the clips because they like it for their socials, which I like. I think it's great, but it's like some moment in the conversation that really stuck or really hit. It's like the hits of the conversation are the little moments. But
the only way the hits are made is by having a long conversation.
That's right.
You cannot make the hits.
It's like making an album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You won't make the hit if you don't make the album.
Always back to music. So what do you have the label and the school or the institute or whatever? What would you
Whatever
call
you
it?
want to call it.
Yeah.
You know, X-Men? Like they had like a school. Okay.
Do you handpick the young
I'm not
artists?
bald yet, but...
Do you handpick the young artists that you pull into the program at Wall?
So we started to have that now. So first I only handpicked people to sign. And now we started Wall Pro Academy together with Tomorrowland, which is like a 30-hour me explaining stuff about making music, producing, tutorials, a lot of stuff about life and basically everything else outside of music. It's like a program, you can buy it and then you watch those lessons. And then there's a Discord where when you watch the lessons, like sometimes people come inside, they send me like a demo and I hear they didn't watch the lessons. I'm like, go back, watch the lessons. I'll see you in 1 month.
Yeah.
But we have like a little Discord server where everyone's sending music, talking about their experiences, wins, fails, mental talk, whatever.
Yeah.
And now we have actually 2 songs. I think we released 5 different artists over the last year. We only started 1 year ago that already released. And now we have 2 songs that I started playing at my shows that are
amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For me, it's just awesome to see that if you give people the right information, suddenly their ability changes. And a lot of people don't think their ability is based on information. They think their ability is based on the skill they have at the moment. And I always tell people, the first song you will make will suck. Then you will read some tutorials and then you'll make another song. It will be twice as good as the first one. It will still suck. And you do this for 3 years. And then if you get enough information, suddenly you start making good songs. But none of us are talented musicians. First time you play the guitar, it sounded like shit.
Yeah.
First time I sat behind the drum set, it sounded like shit.
For years, it sounded like shit. To be
exactly.
honest.
But because we learn how to play a chord progression, it's like there's theory attached. And once you learn the theory, it changes.
Effort is a broad word. Intelligent effort, intelligent work. Smart. We always say, me and my brother always say to each other, we remind each other, well, let's just work hard and be smart.
Yeah.
And then what does be smart imply? Well, we're going to get some information and get some more information, figure it out, go back to the drawing board, figure it out. Work hard is the through line, right? We got to show up every day, put forth effort, but we got to be smart.
Yeah,
so what does be smart mean? It doesn't mean just appear smart or, oh, I'm naturally smart. No, it means try to get information and deduct the best next move.
Yeah.
And then
But this is what I'm saying. Everyone could potentially do this. You don't have to be born hyper intelligent.
Yeah.
You have to just understand that if you can apply information to your skill will get better or will get perceived as better, especially when it comes to creative arts.
Yeah. How do you feel about let's talk about your music, the latest music, and like where you feel like where you feel like you're at, because I would say in electronic music,
yeah,
I would have put you in the category of like OGs, guys who have had a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you're young, and it's kind of a genre of music that's...
I think it's very similar to rock, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of subgenres.
Yeah, lots of subgenres.
With new hypes. Like there's always a new hype. And the problem for me, and I think you have the same thing, I like it all.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to establish yourself as a brand if, like, in my case, you like techno, you like house, you like dance pop. And I think it's the same thing like for rock. Like, it's very difficult to be a brand if you like acoustic country and at the same time like death metal. And you want to do both.
Right.
So for me, it's very difficult to establish myself as a brand. But like, this is the reason why I have great difficulty talking about music or where I am with music. When it comes to music, the best thing I can do is whatever the fuck I want, whenever I want.
Right.
And then I'll let the people around me that have like a hit vision or like, oh, this is popular right now. Like, this is popular right now, then you have fun. You put it out as the next single. And I will continue to make the music as I feel is working.
Right. You are constantly creating.
Yeah.
And some of it we may never hear, and some of it
I will play it in my sets.
But you can drop it live. That's the power of live.
And this is kind of the thing what I do is like, I make the music. I know how to make some stuff that has a bigger chance of working or like a smaller chance of working. I will do both because I like both. But I let the people around me that are working every day with labels, with like radio, etc., I let them figure out what they want the single to be.
Right.
Because our fans don't care what's the single.
No.
They care about the song they're listening to and they like it or not.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if I put something out with a $100,000 marketing budget on it or I put it on SoundCloud.
Right.
It doesn't matter for the fan.
Right.
And I personally don't care who chooses what single because for me, it's still the same thing. I put out 2 songs and one might have a big marketing budget and will be on the radio and the other might only be on SoundCloud. But my success is not dependent on which song becomes more successful. My success is based on what the fan likes. I had a show in Las Vegas last week, right before Coachella. And there was a guy holding his phone saying Lionheart. This guy bought a table, I think like $10,000 table. And this song is like a super underground song I made 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So it's like,
Did you drop it?
Yeah, I played it.
Nice.
And he was very happy. But just like these type of things, that's what creates the success. It not necessarily saying like, oh yes, my new single is the best song I ever made. Like, you don't even have to play the charade anymore. People are smart enough. So it's like, this song has some vocals, has a nice chord progression, is more radio fit.
I like it.
That's the new single.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. But I also, like tonight, I'm playing a venue here called Sound, ran by a friend of mine. I'm playing 5 hours. I will probably not play any of
You're playing 5 hours?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I like it.
How do you play 5 hours?
Yeah. And
that's a little bit of a marathon. How do you like...
I actually usually do it without peeing even.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. What would you say over the, like, say, like just the last, let's say the last 20 years, right? What do you feel like has either, it could be good or bad. I'm going to lean probably more like good, but like what do you think's changed? Has anything changed?
Yeah. So like 15 years ago, EDM came to the world. Everyone was talking about
it was like
electronic
first,
dance
almost.
music.
It was the biggest it'd been. Maybe
back then it was like everyone started getting it. Like I got it the first time I went to club. Like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm going to make this my life. And then 2010-ish, the whole world was like, oh wow, this is awesome. Let's do something with it. And now it's beyond that. So now all the subgenres are popping. So you have like very big techno artists. You have like very big hard techno artists, which is 170 BPM, very fast.
That's crazy.
It's crazy and it's big. Sarah Landry played Sahara at Coachella. I was packed and went crazy. And for me, what I love about seeing all these subgenres grow is it's great for dance music in general.
The whole culture.
Yeah, it's not necessarily great for me because I do more pop stuff. So there's way more competition and way more segmented. But even though it's not good for business, I personally love it because it's super inspiring. Like you can go to Coachella and see 5 different types of dance music. You can see drum and bass. You can see Sarah Landry. You can see Chris Lake. You can see Ameme. Like there's subgenres. Afro House at 120 BPM. Kind of Music was also playing Sahara. They're super big right now. And they played the same weekend that Sarah Landry played 170 BPM hard techno. They're complete opposites. And people are okay to enjoy both.
Right.
And for me, I've been waiting for this for a long time because it used to be like there's purists. You probably have it with your own subgenres. Oh, death metal is better than punk.
Purists.
Punk is better than this, blah, blah, blah. And now I think it takes a while for a genre to evolve to a place where people no longer care about what's better than something else. They can enjoy both.
Right. They just like what they like, and it's cool like
exactly.
that.
So dance music is now at a place like that where everyone is kind of united in being okay with liking multiple genres.
Yeah.
Like people can go see my set and then go see a Kind of Music set and not think one is better than the other. We're just two completely different things.
Yeah.
One of the examples I always used is, and I got so scolded for this back when EDM was booming. Like I said, I'm not EDM. I like EDM, but I'm not EDM. If you like pancakes,
Yeah.
does that mean you are a pancake?
No, but I love pancakes.
Yeah, but
And
does
I
that
love
mean you have
crepes too.
But does that mean you have to eat pancakes every day?
No.
No,
Yeah.
sometimes I want chicken, sometimes I want fish, sometimes I want vegetables. But like just because I like one thing doesn't mean I have to be it all the time always. I also like Aha, Take On Me.
Right.
Like everyone in the world that when the song goes on, they go.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So that's
Yeah.
the point. Like back then I tried to make it and then everyone said like, oh, look, he's saying he's not EDM. Wow, what is blasphemous. And now everyone is finally at a level where they're like, no, I kind of like multiple things.
And even just calling something EDM feels out of date because it's all
I know, but it's electronic dance
Right.
music. It is the term.
right.
It's like you could say rock, calling rock is out of date. Yeah,
No, but it's
guys,
rock.
guitars, band, drums, rock, party.
Right. And we even we always got kind of boxed into labels of our band, but we're just a rock band. We've always just been a rock band.
Yeah, but when you have one successful song, suddenly you're a sellout rock band.
You're a pop punk or you're this or you're that. And we're like, we got a bunch of stuff in the bag, but we're just a rock band. We started in a garage and we're a rock band. And,
Well, I think like people always say like, how do you define your sound? I don't define your sound. Listen to my music. Call it vegetable rock. It doesn't matter. The song is the song.
right.
Like the nice thing about music is it's undefinable by words. Like
Yeah.
you cannot define a chord
More
progression.
of a feeling.
You can describe a chord progression,
Yeah.
but you cannot define a chord progression in emotional words.
Yeah.
You can try to sort of say, it's sad or it's uplifting. But if I say an uplifting chord progression, you cannot play one chord progression. So I think the great thing about music is it goes beyond words. It goes around words. It's like filling up the space that words cannot bring. So
Yeah.
that's, I think, what makes it so magical. And I think that's why it's so important for musicians to learn about the value of music so they stop trying to describe their sound or they stop trying to worry about their brand appearance or like, I have to put more information on my social media or I have to be more active. No, just make great music and plug that and then everything will happen.
And
If you
then
make
work hard to figure out how it all fucking works.
Exactly.
Right? Like learn how the game works. Learn how to play the game and learn how, but there's the game and then there's the art, the dream. Like to dream and make things you like and to follow your interest there and just create is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put it out and you learn. That's the interesting thing about what I'm sitting here listening to. I'm like, so you strike me as like a anything's possible dreamer kind of person.
It is.
Like you'll encourage someone that's got a dream, right? Like people you work with at Wall. But then you're also a realist in the sense of like, okay, now let's figure out how this shit
There's a mathematical
works.
equation.
Right.
Like there is.
I think that's cool. It's very Dutch.
It's I don't know. I don't know what it is, but the thing is for me, what I just learned is that anyone can literally do anything if they have the correct mathematical equation.
Yeah.
It's like compound interest on finance. I learned about that 5 years ago. I wish I learned about that earlier.
Yeah,
but
right.
it works the way it works.
It does
the
work.
same thing like that when you go to sleep, usually at night, when you wake up the next day, the sun will come up.
That's right.
Like this is how the world works.
That's
and
right.
the more you know about it, the easier it becomes to use it to your advantage.
How many shows a year do you play?
150?
That's a lot.
I'm a DJ.
You've probably done
no,
more on a year. Like you've probably done in the 300s.
No, I did like 270 shows one year back in the prime. Well, it's still kind of the prime. Like I can definitely not complain, but yeah, I think this year is like 150. And I always say I'm going to tour less next year. But you know how difficult it is when you get an email saying like, "Hey, this guy wants to pay you this bag, and the only thing you have to do is come, fly first class, and do what you love." It's like, I don't know about that.
Easy, yes.
Maybe.
That's right.
I'm kind of busy right now doing other things I love. It's like, come on.
No, that's right.
And I'm not a band, so I don't have to carry a drum kit. I don't have to carry guitars.
It's
I don't have to bring
show.
roadies. It's like I show up, I bring a USB, and there's decks, and I kind of use the decks like instruments. There's a way more lot buttons than pressing play, but technically, only thing I could do press play, press play, press play, press play. There are some DJs, they tour the world like that.
Yeah, you can edit a set together and
boop. Yeah.
I
don't do that. I really, like I said, 5 hours tonight. I really enjoy it. But it's so difficult to say no.
But what a huge accomplishment. You're actually every night somewhere in the world and you could just be showing up to do what you love. Somebody's celebrating a birthday. Someone's celebrating a big life moment. Some friends are seeing each other for the first time after a long time. Some people are falling in love. Some people are breaking up. There's so much emotion happening in
people
those
getting
rooms.
Married sometimes.
Right. So when you think about it, like we could write off parties as not important, but I think they're the most important. Concerts and parties, people coming together.
Your moments.
To make life. Right. And in general, it's a happy idea. Let's all go here and celebrate or have a good time.
I always downplay it because I don't want to be that guy that's doing great things.
Right.
But I do think it's very important for people to have a place to enjoy. Like the reason I became a DJ is because I went to a nightclub for the first time where there was house music. And I noticed that everything disappeared. There was no racism. There was no classicism. No one cared if you were fat or thin, black or white. Nothing mattered. The only thing was people were there enjoying, experiencing the music that was unknown to them. So it was always like DJs would always come and play songs that you could only hear there or they only had on vinyl and you can find them on Spotify. And now it's still the same thing. A lot of the biggest moments in dance music come from artists that are playing songs or edits of songs that you can only hear there because they made it and they didn't put it out. Or they call it IDs, like playing a new record that everyone's talking about, but it's not out yet. So the only way to experience it is by coming together and enjoying the music. And when I saw that, there was, again, no racism, no discrimination. Everyone was just there for the music. And I stepped outside of the club and I was on the subway and suddenly everyone like was distant again.
Was separate again, yeah.
Black and white and fat and skinny and rich and poor. I was like, okay, I don't know a lot about life, but I definitely know I don't like this. I do like this.
Yeah.
And I was already into music. So it's like, okay, I need to make this area of life my life. No drugs. Never did drugs. Sometimes drink, but never, how you say?
Oh, wow.
It was
no
never
drugs.
about that. No.
Me either.
So many DJs I know, they never do drugs. Like for some reason, they're like, yeah.
You think everyone's on drugs and you're like, actually, no, that's probably why I want to DJ is I don't want to have to be in the party. I want to be in my own little space and like enjoy it from here and play the music.
Also, a lot of the fans, they like, well, I have to say, I've seen some things at some festivals these days. I think some people are definitely doing drugs.
Yeah.
But also a lot of people,
around, for sure.
like music fans, they go to experience the music. I'm sure like at your concerts, you have people that come for the concert and the mosh pits and whatever. And there's people that are there for the music. They
Most
love the
of them
music.
actually, I'd say like, actually now these days, the shows feel bigger and broader than they were back in the day. So there's maybe more drinking, but like it was never a drug thing with our band or like even like partying was like, not really the main idea. The main idea was like this music. And then everything else was kind of ancillary. So it wasn't as important. So like the partying was never really like a main idea of us. So it wasn't a big factor, but there was certainly like some bands known for it. Like that was their thing. They were wild. And then there was, so I never did drugs. It's weird. I never really was interested in.
Like once I took half a pill at like one of my first EDM concerts. Like I was 15. It was actually a techno.
Before you were DJing? Or
Yeah. No, I was like
or?
DJing for fun, but not like I wasn't like
Just the
Afrojack.
early stages.
Yeah. I did half a pill. I don't even know what it was, and it just was like I had 10 Red Bulls. I was like,
you were hyped.
Yeah, and then I was like,
I wonder what it was. Maybe it was like Adderall.
I don't know, but like, what's the point?
Yeah,
it's like I'll just have 10 Red Bulls.
Right.
Like, so
who was your hero early on in music?
So it's funny. So there was 2 DJs I saw that like musically I was like, oh my god. One I'm not gonna name because I saw him like, oh my god, I can do that so much better. Like that, I saw that guy. I was like, wow,
I can do it better than him.
If that guy is there, well, wait till I get there.
Yeah. I love that.
And then there was another guy. His name was Benny Rodriguez, Dutch DJ.
Yeah.
And when I saw him play, I was like, oh my god, I want to do that. That's like he was using the mixer and the CD players as instruments,
right?
Like with little effects and tricks, almost not like really scratching and stuff, but like a lot of cool tricks to extend build-ups, to extend drops, like just really cool stuff, technical stuff. And it just blew my mind. And still to this day is probably the best technical DJ I know in the whole world. Out of all like the world superstar DJs,
right?
He's still mostly based in Holland, but he's still like my favorite DJ.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And that other guy is...
Who is it?
No, I'm not going to say it because this is very rude, but that guy is still, when I see him DJ, I'm like, yeah.
I'm better.
Do it better.
Yeah. It's okay to be competitive.
Well, I think what was very important is like he didn't try.
Right.
So I saw that. I was like, wait, they let you DJ here in front of people. They're not letting me DJ, and you're just like playing this guy was like, play this song. I'm gonna play this song. I was like, do like cool tricks and make a loop and use some hot cues, like do something. You know, this guy was just playing 2 records, and now I still see him play, and he's still playing 2 records. So I'm like,
God bless him. He's still.
Well, yeah, I'm happy
himself.
for him, but for me, I think like when I talk to other talents or like young artists or young artists that want to be DJs or they want to be on the big stage, I always tell them, just try harder. There's a guy right now, a lot of people hate him because he's getting very successful very quickly. His name is James Hype. By far the most technically skilled DJ of 99% of all successful DJs.
Right.
And this guy is just going like to the roof. And you know why? Because he's constantly playing with 4 CDJs at the same time. So 4 songs at the same time. And he's showing off and he's going like this to the camera. So people actually know he's doing skill. He started a YouTube channel explaining why he does his mixes. He started making production videos. Even though like his I love you, bro. Your productions are at the next level of technical ability. But the fact that he went on Twitch to do those productions and have everyone watch and make it good enough, that's why he won. And he keeps winning. And every time, like...
That's cool.
He might not have the best song every time, but this guy's putting out 20 songs a year and he just keeps going and he makes bootlegs of every song. He doesn't just play a song, he will make a remix of a song before he plays it.
Right.
So that effort does not go unnoticed.
Right.
And that's why I'm telling my guys, like, yo, you want to be on that stage, give people a reason to put you on that stage. Be great. Be better than James Hype, which I have to say is honestly very difficult. This guy is working out. He's healthy. He's putting everything online. He does motivational videos. This guy's like doing everything. But try. Because if you do half of what he does, I guarantee you will be close to where he is now in a few years.
Is there anything left for you? Like when you think about the next 10 years, like what that you want to accomplish? I think I can see that the Wall Academy and the label is super important to you. I think that's important as well for artists to understand, like, no matter where you put your music out, to me, the core of your business has to feel independent these days. I think you need to understand how your business functions and you need to be plugged in to have a modern career. I think is one that where artists understand what they're doing. Right. And I think that it's guys like you and me telling people like, hey, this is the mistakes I made. Let's get better. Like, we want you to be better than us. We want you. And so I think I can tell like that part is a big part of your next decade is giving back and building something that feels more right, feels fair, feels transparent, feels like it's got some purpose to it.
It has something like that. So there's two things I do that I want to do in the future. When it comes to my career, I want to float. I went in the studio yesterday with a really big artist, one of my favorite artists of all time, worked with her a lot. And then I don't go in there to try and get a record. I go in there because I love her music so much. I hope she wants to work with me on more songs, but I don't go there to get the song. I go there out of fun and respect for the person. And that's what I mean about floating. I don't do sessions to get a hit.
Yeah.
I do sessions to have fun, to be natural, to create organic stuff. And then when I get home and I'm in my studio, I will work disciplined.
Right.
And I believe by creating relationships and creating a loving situation and caring situation between people, combining that with at the office discipline, you can create great things. So the most important thing for me is when I go out of my studio or I go out to, I was at Coachella, I float. I am not trying to get anything. I'm not trying to get the best viral social media. I am not going to be in this podcast and try to get the right clip.
Right.
I need to float. And if I float, the best things will happen from that.
I love that. That's real, dude. That's like experience.
I think that's what my experience taught me, that will get you the best results.
Yeah.
And then on the wall side, I do my best every day to discipline the shit out of these kids. As in, I am the most Dutch direct person you can meet. Friend of mine recently got fired from his job and he's like, yeah, it wasn't my fault. I'm like, yes, it was. Like, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, but this guy didn't like me. You should have made him like you. It's like, it is what it is. Like, life works in a certain way and everything that happens around you in life is because of you. You might not agree with it. I might agree with you that you don't agree with it, but it's in your power. I'm not saying that that he should have kept the job. I think he should have left because it was a toxic situation.
Right.
But it was your choice to be there in the first place. And it's the same thing with these kids. Sometimes people, like, they send me music and I'm like, you say you want to become successful, but what you just sent me is not looking like you want to be successful. It's looking like you enjoy making music for fun. And that's fine. But like, I created this company to help people that really want to create a career to get a career. So don't waste not just my time, but there's like, we have 10 people working full time trying to get these kids to where they want to be. So if you're going to waste these 10 people's time, there's 10 other kids that want to be a successful DJ, that want to be a successful artist.
Yeah.
And they did study hit chord progressions. They did study what sounds are working right now. They did study what BPMs are working right now. It's not fun, I know, but I also tell them, you can send me something fun, but tell me it's for fun.
Yeah, you can also
do both.
And it might not be for you. Like, you may not have what it takes to exist inside of a system where we are asking for more, right? We're asking you to show up every day and bring the energy we bring. And that's what our experience has told us. In order to have success, you got to show up every day. You got to plug in and you got to care about what you're doing. And you got to listen to the people that you came to for
advice.
You asked them for their advice. And you said, well, okay, are you really sure? Because if you get on this train, you're going to hear what I think. You're going to hear what I know. You're going to hear.
It's not always fun. But
it's not always fun.
It's the truth.
And that's a career that is, it's not always fun, but you show up every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say probably you strike me as probably the same as me. Is I'm also not quick to judge if that was good or bad. If you getting fired from your job is a good thing or a bad thing, we'll find out later what it means.
Yeah, but don't say it wasn't your fault.
But exactly, don't say it wasn't something that you didn't have power over.
The thing is, like, you should never say things that you didn't have power over, because even like if it was outside your power, the fact that you pretend it's something that was inside your power will make you better for the future. It's like I always say when I'm driving a car, you have to assume that the drunk driver will cross the red light and hit your car.
That's right.
You have to assume this. So even when you have a green light, yeah, but it was green. It was not my fault.
Ways.
Bro, look both ways, because there are drunk idiots that will kill you or your family.
That's life.
So presume everyone around you is driving drunk and your life will be a lot better.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Afrojack.
Closing statement.
Listen, thank you. You're a legend. I see why.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on here. I wish you a lot of success with the new music and with Wall.
You too.
And I hope I see you again down the road.
I hope so too.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Artist Friendly. We really appreciate it. If you like the show, you can also follow us on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram at artist.friendly. And you can watch us on YouTube and Veeps. Leave comments. I always read them. See you next time.